here at LAOP. My name is Nicole Sarradet. And I also run a private practice in holistic health and wellness where we focus on allergy elimination, inflammation management, chronic condition management, really kind of whole system health and nutrition and wellness. Because really, we can't separate one from the other. We had this idea, this guy Descartes a whole long time ago, who said, mind-body dualism, let's treat them like they're separate. And it created this crazy cultural shift where we think of them as distinct from each other. But actually, when we start listening to our bodies, we can start getting a lot more insight into why our minds aren't working the way we want them to, or how to get them to work the way we want them to. So I'd love to take a moment and have you guys just imagine a cup of water, with the water line, how full it is, representing your energy right now. Is it maybe low, maybe just like a couple drops in there? Could be. It's the end of a day, it's almost the end of the week. Or is it like glass half full, feeling kind of optimistic, feeling like you've got some resources, you can stay hydrated, it's not overflowing, it's not too much. Or is it maybe spilling out the top, the cup's been overflowed. This is sloshing everywhere. Where's your cup today? I want to hang on to this metaphor as we work through what we're going to talk about this evening, which is understanding your stress and what it's trying to tell you. See, there's a really great theory going around these days that's gotten rather popular, known as Polyvagal Theory, which basically puts our nervous system on kind of a spectrum. And I recognize you guys can't really probably see over there, so let's see if we can open that up a little bit. So over here, we've got what we call the sympathetic state. And when we're in that sympathetic state, that's that overfilled cup. It's too much, I need to get energy out of me, I need to get resources, pour us up the water out, it's too much. We get over there when we're like maybe trying to perform. Maybe we're stuck in our perfectionism. We don't want anyone to know we don't have everything together, so we're going to try to control every detail we can, right? Anyone familiar with that state? Right? This is like too much state, overfilled. So like, let's just go with too much. Get it out. Now in the middle here, we have our, as Porges would say, as Polyvagal would say, our ventral vagal zone. That's our happy place. This is where we have that glass half full, right? We have enough resources in us to handle what we need to do, and not too much where we can't handle it, it's just too much. This is where we're connected, where we're capable, where we have our resources available to think about and handle what comes up. Finally, over here, we have what's called the dorsal vagal state. And the dorsal vagal state is that empty cup. I'm completely worn out. Oh my God, I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted, I'm fried, I can't do anything else, I give up, I don't even care. Anyone else ever been there? Yes. Right? And the thing about these two ends of the spectrum is we have an option with them. We can revert to the things that just handle it for right now, I just don't feel good. Maybe that looks like binging on the things that we know we don't really want to be doing, but like just put something in, I don't even care, I just need something to make me feel better. Maybe it looks like addiction in a lot of cases. It can look a whole lot of different ways. Maybe it looks like isolating, not showing up for your life, not having the energy and the resources to be present in your relationships. This side can feel like we're stuck, like we're just out of batteries, out of ability to do things. So another helpful image I want to consider here, in addition to the cup, think about like your phone battery. When your phone is down to 1%, how well is it going to work to watch a movie? What's going to happen? It's going to die, right? So when you're in that 1% range, might notice feelings like, oh God, I just want to die. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live like this. This is awful, right? When we're out of resources, dying seems like the next most logical step. If a phone uses up its resources, that's what it does, right? Dead is where it goes. So it makes sense that when we've put it out all on the field and we've got nothing left, we feel like dying. We feel depressed. We don't feel like engaging with life. So how do we get out of that? What do we do with that? And the reality is, usually when we're existing in one of these states, we're cycling between these two. Because there's this lovely little thing we like to do, where it's like, okay, I'm going to control everything I can. I'm going to make it look like I'm perfect. I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm performing at all my levels, right? I'm freaking exhausted. I've been trying to make sure everyone knows I'm doing it. I'm doing great, right? I got nothing left. But I can't let anyone know I'm not enough. I don't have it in me, so I have to perform. And I got nothing left, right? So we oscillate between these stress states, keeping ourselves out of a place where we feel capable of living our lives, of being engaged and being in our lives. So disrupting this cycle, getting to the middle, is really about tuning into what these states are asking for. Now, coming back to that cup metaphor we were talking about, if your cup's on empty, what do you need to get some hydration? Anybody? Yeah?
Rest.
Maybe, yeah. We need to pour something into an empty cup if we want to get hydration from it, right? We need to fill it up. We need to pour into it. So if we're the cup, how do we pour into us? Yes, ultimately the answer is self-care. Now, coming back to that cell phone for a minute. Say you're out and about. Maybe you're out for the night. Maybe you took an Uber or Waymo out, right? And your phone hits that 1% and you're like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. How am I going to get home? Oh, but someone has a little portable charger with them. Anyone ever use one of those portable chargers? They're really handy to have. Most of the time, though, they're not enough to fully restore your battery to where you have a full battery and you're good to go, right? They might bring you up to like 15, 20%. And it's enough to get you home, right? So our portable charger, as I like to think about it, are the basic, fundamental, physiological resources that our body needs to function. If your blood sugar is low, guess what? That's what your brain runs off of. Without blood sugar, you have less resources to function on. And so that creates a stress state in your body. Your body goes into a survival mode where it has to preserve resources. And in that state, yeah, think like hypothermia or possum playing dead. Slowing down every physiological process, getting as slow and as little exertion as possible, right? When we get into that, we get stuck. But if we start pouring in the resources, that portable charger, those fundamental food, sleep, hydration, those things our body actually needs to function, that gives us a chance to get up to that 15%. From there, maybe we can plug into the wall. The wall is where we start connecting with life, where we start charging ourselves up by interacting with the world and the things that make us feel alive. Maybe that's joining a group, being a part of a committee like this. Maybe that's doing weekly social engagements, or trying something new, learning something, taking a class. But when we start first with meeting our basic physical needs, and then finding the things that make us feel alive, it pulls us out of this cycle. And it lets us get to the place where we can be at our best, be in our thriving in life. When we're over here, just like on the empty, we gotta pour in. When we're on full and there's too much and it's spilling out everywhere and we're anxious and we're about to have a panic attack maybe, we need to get some energy out. When you feel that amped up feeling, the resources in the body are going to your muscles, again, a survival state, so that you're able to fight the oncoming threat. But if the oncoming threat is, say, a work deadline, well, being ready to fight it isn't going to help so much as having your brain online. And so how do we get our brain back online from there? Well, we got to use the resources where they are. If the resources all went to fight and survive, well, why don't we use the muscles where all of that blood flow went to move that energy? Because actually, when we do, they can get reallocated. Instead of to survival, back to cognitive function. When all of our resources are in survival state, you might notice your brain doesn't work as well. It's not a great place to resolve conflict from, right? So getting back to where we can communicate, connect, and resolve conflict and solve problems from over here might take moving in some type of way, getting energy out. But there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways you might not have thought of that you can use your muscles and your body to move energy out of you. For example, I'm doing one right now. Talking involves using my diaphragm, the muscles of my throat, to express. Screaming is a more dramatic version of that, but it is using the physical body to get too much pent-up energy out. Singing. Another really great one is writing. Writing also uses our muscles and our neurology to move the energy. And a really cool thing about writing is it works on a similar principle to EMDR therapy, if any of you are familiar with that, which we use to reprocess traumatic information and integrate it into our nervous systems in a healthy way.
Whoa!
Stressed! Energy out. Let the energy out. Shake up that nervous system. Felt that, right? That felt really good, actually, in a funny way. So, all of that to say, when we're in that really anxious, that amped up, that overstimulated, I don't know what to do with myself, and I gotta do something kind of state, do something with it. You can sit in it and sit in the discomfort and be really uncomfortable. But the thing about doing that is we actually hold on to the products in our bodies that got released to make us feel uncomfortable. When we have an emotional experience, in our bodies, we put out all kinds of things, hormones and neurotransmitters and protein chains and things to create the tension in the muscles, the clenching in the jaw, the sweating, the butterflies in the stomach. Those aren't just thoughts we're having. They're real physical processes. And when we let ourselves feel our feelings or move them, our body can break them down. It can put things where they're supposed to go and eliminate the waste. When we don't, it just stays in our bloodstream. And then our immune system goes, why is this here? It's not supposed to be here all the time. So then it starts putting out inflammation. And we start building up more inflammation. And we get sicker and more confused because then we get the brain fog from the inflammation. So, what's all this come down to? If it's too much, get it out. If you don't have the resources, it's time to plug in. It's really easy, especially in our modern culture, to just keep barreling through and just trying to perform forever. But we don't want to end up without the ability to get home, right? We don't want to end up with our phone dead and no ride. So noticing those cues, using mindfulness to tune in. When am I hungry? Oh, I didn't eat all day. And it was really easy not to notice that, but now I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, and I can't do what I need to do, right? If we can meet those needs when we feel the sensation, before it turns into a survival condition, then we can give ourselves a much better chance at living in a more ventral, regulated, and connected place. It's only when we let it get too far that it turns into survival. So, my offering for you all today is to create a little menu for yourself. And on these handouts, you'll see on the back, there's a little space to do that. And I'd love, if you would like to offer, take this home with you and maybe even expand on it. Make your menu as big and exhaustive and fabulous as you want. Because stress is gonna happen, and you're gonna have different needs at different times. Sometimes a minute of breath work is what you need in the moment. Sometimes a week vacation is what you really need. So create your menu for all of it. Get the small and the big actions in there that can help get it out, and also that can pour in. Thank you all so much for being here.